It has been quite a week here when it comes to leaks and information regarding Modern Warfare 2. The other day we touched on a bit about Warzone 2, some specifics along with a handful of items in regards to Modern Warfare 2, but today an industry insider once again ended up amending his initial report, giving even more details to what was already put out there. Today we're breaking down some of these entirely game-changing features and items coming to Warzone 2, reportedly, and letting you know everything you need to stay up to date with all of it. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What are you looking forward to the most out of these leaks, if anything at all? There's some really strange deviations in regards to what's upcoming from Warzone 1 to Warzone 2 here in the future if this all pans out, so feel free to drop your thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, if you find it at all insightful, you're excited for more Modern Warfare 2 or Warzone 2 details, drop a like on the video, and if you're new to the channel, you'd like to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, and anything in the current Call of Duty experiences, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay on top of all of it. If you'd like to join us on that road to 500,000 subscribers, I'd love to have you. And finally, my friends over at G Fuel have bumped up code Espresso to 30% off your entire order. Once again, a quick little turnaround here, so if you guys want to check anything out in regards to a restock, trying something out for the very first time, now is as best a time as any. It'll save you a decent bit of cash per order, and my code probably won't be 30% off again until next month sometime. So if you're interested, I'd highly recommend Hype Sauce, Pink Drip, the new Morbius Nectarine flavor, Starfruit, and Strawberry Banana. Can't go wrong with any of those, but if you're interested, link in the description below. That said, let's get into it. So first and foremost, yes, we touched on some of this already in a video a few days ago, though we're not really going to recap any of that until the end here. I'll put the new information up front, and we'll try to avoid as much overlap as possible. But no, this is amended reporting from Tom Henderson, an industry insider here, from something he published 2 or 3 days ago, and a new article as of today as well. So as for the sourcing of this, Tom ended up fielding some information from people playtesting Warzone 2, anonymously giving him insight. But with this, we ended up getting a lot of interesting details. Starting out with the new stuff here, let's talk firstly about the map. Previously, we mentioned that we'd see a few locations coming that were reminiscent of classic Modern Warfare 2 maps: High Rise, Quarry, Afghan, and Terminal, with the assumption of maybe Favela in there as well. And it turns out Tom has since sourced and cited that there will be 18 points of interest in the Warzone 2 map, which does check out. There's 16 in Caldera currently, there was 21 in Verdansk 84, and 20 in the original Verdansk, so 18 seems right on par. Those locations, according to Tom, being Oasis, War-Torn, Quarry, Oilfield, Modern City, Caves, Dam, Marshes, Harbor, Sierra, Observatory, Mountain Town, Graveyard, Old Town, Shipwreck, Fishtown, Fort, and Airport. Now, some of these, if we are seeing more classical representation in the Warzone map, could easily be classic maps reimagined. Like Oasis is straight up a map from Modern Warfare 3, Oilfield, my mind immediately goes to Fuel from Modern Warfare 2, Shipwreck, my mind immediately goes to Aground, the face-off map from Modern Warfare 3, so you see there's plenty of parallels here that could happen. It's just a matter of if they actually do or not. Now, I know we're probably still a ways off from any official gameplay or first looks, but I'm honestly really curious to see how this map will shape up as a result of so much discussion of the sort of Blackout style crossover where classic maps make up points of interest for the larger world at hand. So really curious to see how this all comes together in the next couple of months here as we learn more and more. But anyways, another bit of newer and larger information comes down to a brand new feature that I'm a little torn on, and we'll touch on why in just a second, but this being a new feature called Interrogations. According to Tom, Warzone will have a new interrogation feature that will allow players to act similarly to what happens in Siege. And forgive my ignorance on the exact one-to-one explanation of how it works in Siege. It's been so long since I've played Siege. My knowledge almost is all entirely gone from that. But according to Tom, this will reveal enemy teammates' locations once completed. From his reporting, this new feature will be available when a player is downed and you can go up to them and interrogate them. And no, it doesn't bring up like a dialogue prompt or anything like that, but instead it's a feature that looks to kind of encourage finishers for what looks like a high-risk, high-reward type of scenario, where, as it's described, it's basically an execution, lasting about 6 seconds for the entire process to be completed, but afterwards, you'll have the positions available of enemy locations on that player's team. So why I'm torn on this is because I just don't think we have enough information on this to gauge it accurately just yet. The way that I see that this may work well is that if it's like a resurgence ping, you put yourself in this vulnerable and dangerous position for 6 seconds and maybe get one ping out of it where their teammates are, like in Rebirth after confirming a kill, but in the standard BR modes. If that's all to happen, I think that that's okay. Again, it's a high risk, high reward finisher. You're entirely vulnerable. You can't shoot back while you're in this animation. So it really comes down to if you think it's worth it. You could easily just shoot melee or like throwing knife the downed player to clean them up immediately. But where I'd see an issue with it is if it's like a 6-second finisher and then you have multiple seconds lasting of the combat scout or snapshot grenade level revealing of enemies, where it's literally like the Oracle. You see through walls and everything like that. That's where I think it'd be stupidly overpowered. But right now, we just don't have enough information, in my opinion. As we'll mention in a bit, though, it's important to mention that just because it's being playtested doesn't mean that it will actually make it into the game. So bear that in mind. We're still minimum 5 to 6 months away from when we'd see anything for Warzone 2 drop at the very earliest, so there's still a ton of time to scrap stuff. And hell, maybe with these types of leaks even, they're being watched with heavy scrutiny, and it's kind of a trial run to see what the community thinks, and our reactions could shape what makes it into the game versus what doesn't. I mean, that's definitely possible as well. Anyways, though, after that, we have a new armor system. We touched on this briefly, but really didn't go too far into depth because there wasn't as much information. Tom amended his reporting and gave us a bit more here at this, where armor vests apparently will be available in levels or tiers 1 to 3, 1, 2, and 3, each tier allowing you to equip one more armor plate than the other. Now, Tom mentioned that your armor vest does not break, but the armor plates inside it do, meaning that you'll need to replenish those plates after you end up getting hit, just like within Warzone. So kind of a hybrid system where it stays on you like in Warzone, but you can replenish it versus the level 1, 2, and 3 armor in Blackout. You could replenish it, but if you took enough damage, it would actually just break the entire armor and you wouldn't have anything there. So even after you deplete the plates, you'll still have it on your person. It's just a matter of how much you can refill after that point. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know how I feel about this. I really dislike this in Blackout. I loved a lot of the stuff about Blackout, but the TTK discrepancies were a total pain in the ass to deal with between level 1 and level 3. Between level 1 and 2 wasn't too bad, but level 1, 2 to 3, that was a big jump here in regards to offering a lot more protection. So personally, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this. And fun fact, we'll mention it here in just a second again, this actually was something that was in the original game files for Warzone 1. So maybe it's the same thing being reincarnated here in Warzone 2, but maybe it also could be something that just doesn't actually happen. It's just a feature that's being tested out. Now, the final thing that was new here is kind of an amendment, of course, to that bag system, where we got a lot more details out of this new report here in regards to how this works. He ended up stating that sources said the bag system is in early development, but things are still very fluid in how they may eventually work for the official launch of the game. He said it's very similar to Escape from Tarkov, but there are different bag sizes that will allow you to have more storage space. And again, kind of between that hybrid between Warzone and Blackout, we've already seen this in Blackout, where you could carry a finite number of things on your person, but you could end up getting a backpack here, expanding that amount of slots for items you have in Blackout as well. So I kind of imagine it's that, but with maybe multiple sizes of bags. However, he gave some examples of how the bag system works, but they're not exactly accurate numbers, but more so just giving sort of the thought process behind it, where ammo takes up 1 slot. So like your full ammo for, say, AR takes up 1 slot. Kill streaks could take up to 4 slots, 2x2. Your assault rifle could take up 6 slots, 2x3. So kind of similar to what we've seen with other looter shooters, kind of like Tarkov. That's what it's being likened to the most, but it is something that you'll have to consciously keep in mind how much of your inventory you have available and on your person. Again, I both like and dislike this. I've played plenty of BRs in my day, and it's something that there definitely is a little bit of a skill gap here and some tactical nature that you can take to it if you end up having a bag where a player can utilize it better than somebody else perhaps. But at the same time, I kind of like just having it simple and sweet what we have right now. 2 weapons, your perks, your lethals, equipments, and then whatever ammo and cash you have, and that's it. But with this, kind of adds a different element that may make it a little more convoluted, a little bit more confusing for some players, but looks like that may be coming as well. Outside of that, we have some recap on some stuff. Of course, strongholds and pro perks were introduced here with this last report. Strongholds being that sort of AI guarded objectives where you have to do a certain task to end up getting certain rewards. One thing that was mentioned was this will grant you a loadout. Again, I don't know that I mind this if it's an additional way to get a loadout. If it's your only way to get a loadout, I think that is an incredibly stupid deviation here from what we see with Warzone 1. Being able to buy your loadout, being able to get that free loadout, those are phenomenal ways to keep the pacing going here for the experience that we have right now. But if you add that third optional way to maybe offer an additional way to regain late game or something like that, I think that'd be awesome. But if you remove the other 2 factors and the easiest ways to do it right now, I don't think that a lot of people are going to be too receptive to that. And pro perks were mentioned with a little bit more detail, stated that they're available by looting strongholds, and although some pro perks were on predetermined classes during the Warzone 2 playtest, it's not entirely clear whether or not pro perks will be available to use in your loadout. So we'll have to see how that happens. Maybe it's just upgrades you can actually earn in-game, which may introduce some complications here to the gameplay experience. And again, maybe not everybody will like that point. But outside of that, that is the details here that we have. So the big question is, will all of these big changes and deviations happen? It is something that in game development, that's a very valid question, especially 5 to 6 months out still. So there's two possibilities here with this. Possibly one, it does happen. Infinity Ward may very well want to change the focus and the meta of the game, shifting things so that Warzone 1 to Warzone 2 isn't exactly the same game, which I get to a degree, but changes always had inadvertent positives and negatives. You could absolutely strike gold with some of these changes, but with a formula that's tried and true and something that players have come to love, changing that up might not be met with the most heartfelt of reactions. So that's something that it really is just a gamble. But at the same time, there is the possibility that these things don't happen. There was a ton of stuff that never left the cutting room floor from Warzone 1's initial data reveals from Modern Warfare 2019's game files. Right after Modern Warfare 2019 launched, Warzone almost in its entirety was leaked. It was something that was data mined from the game files that months ahead started that whole "there's going to be a BR in Modern Warfare 2019" topic of discussion. Now, things like that were leaked but never made it into the game, helmets, bandages, backpacks, portable defibrillators, likely repurposed as a syringe for reviving players, individual looted attachments, ballistic vests of level 1 to 3 designations, scrapped perks like Stalker, Armorer to replenish armor faster, Artisan Taste allowing you to have weapons that upgrade automatically, Sneaky, which is like the anti-tracker perk, and a bunch of other things. So just because something is in development does not guarantee that it will be happening, but it all is certainly very curious. Now, if I'm guessing here with this and how I interpret some of these leaks that we've seen so far, they definitely do seem plausible. They seem realistic and something that could actually make its way into the game, but it's just a matter of, will that change be something that is positively or negatively received by the community? So that's where we're at here at this. Again, I would not be surprised if these sort of leaks are happening and then Infinity Ward is just like, okay, nobody seems to like that, we're gonna pull that, or okay, people seem receptive to this, how can we build on it? I wouldn't be surprised that has absolutely happened beforehand, Modern Warfare 2019 actually being a very big proponent of that here, pre-launch of Modern Warfare 2019. It seemed like a lot of stuff was changed last second with that, so it's very possible it could happen here again. So that said, that's where we're at here with this. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of these details? What do you think of some of the features and changes that may be coming to Warzone 2? Drop your thoughts below, but if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2, all things Warzone 2, anything COD related, we've got you covered here on the channel. So if you guys are at all interested, I would love to have you in the community. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.